Good evening, everyone. We're going to start out with Bioshock 2 tonight, and then tomorrow I plan to pick up with Mass Effect. And we're going to flip-flop between Mass Effect and other games, just so I don't go crazy just playing Mass Effect. And kind of, kick it up a little bit and change the lineup just a smidge. I don't want to spend all my time playing Mass Effect, but I did want to start off with Bioshock 2, just because I enjoy hate playing sometimes. There's a lot of little things I want to talk about just at the opening here. So we're going to just play this for a little bit, and then tomorrow evening we're going to pick up with Mass Effect. And what I'm going to do probably tomorrow during the day is I'm probably going to put together some kind of schedule so that if anybody wants to keep track of what we're going to be doing each day, I'll be updating that on Twitch, since everybody that I know personally keeps telling me that I should do that. So without further ado, we're going to start.
Look, Daddy, it's you. Let's go out to play, Daddy. More angels, Daddy. This way.
Come with us, little girl.
You want some, big guy? Bigger than hard, harder than Get out of here, freak!
There we are. He's perfectly safe now. This is not your daughter. Do you understand? Her name is Eleanor, and she is mine. Now, kneel, please. Remove your helmet. Now, take the pistol. Place it against your head. Fire.
hear me? You're
Alright, so I need to change a few things real quick.
House of upside down. Sellers top floor.
That's really clean and pretty water.
Laughing cry. And smiles frown. In the house upside down. Found is lost. And lost.
So, one of the things already that I really don't understand, and I liked that intro sequence. I think that intro sequence is really good. Okay, that's way too loud even for me. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. It still feels really loud to me. So they did a lot of stuff that really improved from Bioshock 1. It looks cleaner, looks better, which of course it would. It's definitely a much better looking game. It runs better. The colors are better. There's a lot of stuff they did right with Bioshock 2 that I really, really appreciated. That opening sequence, however, has, in my opinion, a couple little problems. You know, and I'm going to kind of talk about that for just a second before we move on. The first problem is that Hypnotized Big Daddy doesn't let you tell them what to do like that, or at least if it does, we've got no real information that tells us that. If that was the case, the Big Daddy project would be completely destroyed. If you could just have a plasmid that you could just literally tell the Big Daddy to kill themselves, they don't come back, right? So, like, why was the Big Daddy a real threat in the first game? Or at all, really, because you have the Big Daddy hypnotized plasmid that can literally tell them to kill themselves. Then you just take the little sister, as we just saw. That seems like a really effective manner in making that work. The next thing is, of course, the fact that 10 years later, you can resurrect somebody. Now, maybe that's not a flaw, but I thought that was kind of a weird addition, considering the fact that, one, we know that, according to the first game, the Vita Chambers are tuned to one person's DNA, which we know is Andrew Ryan, and anybody of his genetic makeup, or anybody who's got any genetics even closely related to him. And you know, I get it, you can reprogram them. However, it's 10 years later. What DNA are you going to get? Where the heck was I for 10 years where you could justifiably get DNA? So those are the two main things that really stuck out to me that I really did not like about the opening sequence. I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. It's some kind of atrium, but it's just a pretty looking atrium, which is, you know, it could be all it is. But one of my biggest pet peeves about this game is that everything looks like a combat arena and not a functional piece of the universe. But it does, like, it looks good though. I mean, that's the thing I like about it. It looks good. It definitely feels better. The controls are better. The visuals look better. So this, I get, is a swimming pool. That's cool. This thing is actually kind of cool. This is a little arena right here. Felix, if you want to bring me the toy, you can bring me the toy. Then I can throw it, okay? Also in the opening sequence, I like how it was kind of weird, but I liked it where you had like dead party guests right outside the party. I like that a lot.
Do you hear me?
Oh.
Lesson 1.
mop jockeys.
Oh, I forgot to do one more thing. Options. Audio? No, that's not it. That's not it. It's gameplay. Dialogue, yes.
You are under the ocean now. If you feel the soft patter of rain on your hat, you're already fired. Lesson 2. You can jumpstart a dead generator with a direct spark, but clear the guests out of the pool first. Scares these rich pricks to watch a working stiff hurling thunderbolts. You follow me?
Cool. One of my other big things is that the audio diaries don't tell a story anymore. There's not a bunch of stories happening. They're just random little tidbits of information. It definitely did not feel like it was as good as the first one. That we go. Ooh, hello.
I don't want to tell me anymore. Take care this time.
Get a pistol. I did turn off the... You know what, let's go ahead and turn on item shimmer. I usually like to keep it off just for my own personal playthroughs, but since I'm playing through and I want to make this... I do want to actually get through this.
My husband is such a perfect idiot. Throws away all his spending money on gene tonics to affect a look of physical fitness. So he'll have an excuse to sit on his rear all day listening to radio serials. Steven, I tell him, you want to be fit? Come swim laps with me, the old-fashioned way. It's your mind that's atrophying. Maybe I'll start sneaking some brain boost into his daily regimen.
See, and that kind of stuff is an interesting conversation to have, and I really wish they would pick up on that. But it doesn't tell me anything, you know. But I really think they missed the mark when they could have talked about that, or people were becoming more. Okay, that's still too loud to me. At least it is to me anyway. Where, let's see. But they could have capitalized upon that, you know, like maybe talked about how as plasmids became more common, that people got lazier. I mean, it's not like we have multiple examples of real life where as life gets easier, people kind of get lazier, you know?
Daddy was sleeping for such a long time, and Eleanor has missed you. Find her and you'll be all better. Daddy!
Big sisters. Ooh, freshly charred corpse. Yummy. So, like, what was as I was saying when I was playing Bioshock 1, what is the purpose of this room? What does this room do? What are these rooms? I don't know what this is for. And so, like I was saying in the first game, as we were going through, each room looked like it had a purpose. This room just looks like it's something out of a Roman picture, but it serves no purpose. And that seems weird to me for being in an underwater city that has very, very minimal space to deal with, that you would just create a room, I guess treatment room. Treatment for what? We're not in a hospital. We're in a frickin' pool. I mean, the treatment for what? What is this? This is what I'm saying, is like there's not a whole lot of information. And although some people may say, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal, like, it's, you know, why does it matter, Myth, whether or not this has an actual purpose? And My point will be the fact that it's required. It's required. It's really useful to have an environment that actually feels like it could be lived in. It helps immerse the player in the experience. It's one of the things that Bioshock 1 did super well, Bioshock Infinite failed at, and Bioshock 2 stumbled with. And it just seems that every iteration just got worse. I don't mind that. Although, if I want to get really, really into it, I would like to see the ads from the first game almost exactly as in the second game, because they're not that far apart in regards to when they would have stopped functioning.
Audrey, Michelle, Peter, Thomas, William, Joseph. Where are you? Non-believer! You defile the land!
Where'd that guy go? Felix, bring your toy. Come here. Come on, Felix. All right, fine. Don't joke. I also don't know why you'd put a high voltage generator right next to a swimming pool, but that's just me. I do like this scene though, where the blast doors slowly come down.
Ah, at last a signal. You, who are bringing this dead city to life, listen. My name, it is Tannenbaum. I know who you are, and I am in much need of your help. Please, find me in the Atlantic Express train station.
I love what they did with the outside shots. Again, it just aesthetically and look-wise, it looks better, even on the outside. And I know that's just graphical improvements over time. I get it. I'm right there. I get it. All right, thank you, Felix. Pew. But again, like, I can also assume these were not here originally. I mean, I would hate to believe that you would have people swimming with this flying over their heads at the height of Rapture. That's okay. But like for this. Actually, okay, so let's stop and talk about this. Plasmid therapies. This is a completely new thing that, at least as far as I know, that did not exist in the first game. Plasmid therapies. Therapy for what? Is there some kind of rehab that you need to go through in order to deal with plasmids? I mean, you could make the argument, since in Bioshock 1 you kind of pass out from the initial shock. You can make that argument. But this is the end of it. We never hear about this again. There's no stories behind this. There's no lore. We literally get nothing except for plasmid therapies. As if we're just supposed to know what that is. And again, maybe I'm being too critical. But, I don't think that my points are being overly critical. I like this too. Clunk. Clunk. See, now I like that. That's world building right there. See, we see a leak. What do Big Daddies do? They help maintain Rapture. So what do? They go around and they fix stuff that breaks. At least on the outside. We don't really see them do that on the inside. Felix, where's your toy? Bring your toy. Come on.
To my daughter, Eleanor, soon you will be born, and Rapture will be your home. You shall be raised as I was, to advance the common good through social psychiatry. This city's potential is immeasurable, Eleanor. Yet our beliefs are unwelcome here. Life will be difficult, but the price of revolution is always dear. If we are patient with her, Rapture will come to us.
And then we're introduced to the bad guy. Bioshock 2. It just looks so much better than Bioshock 1. It's not amazing by today's standards, but it still looks way better. Big, big, big improvement.
I haven't had a taste of Adam in weeks. Sunshine.
This is Dr. Sophia Lamb with a message for the people. Remember, you are not alone. Think of me not as leader, but as mother to the Rapture family.
I am back in Rapture after so many years. The little ones I rescued are grown up and think of me no more. After what I once did to them, it was a joy to be forgotten. But now, all around the world, children vanish by the sea, kidnapped. And so I return, in fear of what I already know. Someone is making new little ones, continuing my work, my sins. Even if I am to die for it, I must stop them.
And here we have our clincher. That's a good reason to come back here, right? That is a very good reason. However, again, a little bit on the nose. I wish they'd spend a little more time weaving the story rather than just coming out and telling us the story, or at least part of it. Or, better yet, holding to the story. That's a really good thing to look out for, right? Felix. Okay, here we go. Pew. Making noise, crashing all over the place. And again, I'm going to ask, what room is this for? What does it do? What's the purpose? It's just a pretty looking room with pretty lighting. No sign, no purpose. It's a spa, maybe? I don't know. Like, what do people do here? Like, I mean, this is just a... You can't swim here. It's not deep enough. It's got a bridge for some reason that I don't really know what for. I mean, you got some benches. I mean, maybe I'm just not that familiar with Roman architecture to really know what kind of place this is. The first thing that comes to mind is like a bathhouse. But there's no spots on the side. It doesn't look like you're supposed to walk in here. It looks like it's supposed to be a like a decorative pool, you know, not really a pool you walk into.
Must be something beyond.
One of my favorite guns.
To my home.
I love the rivet gun. Excellent improvement. I love the Rosie rivet gun. Alright, and again, we're going to go into here. Rapture Metro, Cure All. Okay, so I mean, I could argue this could be like a street vendors area where, like, you know, hey, you need to do some basic medical work or get your teeth pulled or something, but, you know, like in the last game, so what is this? Thrifty care. I mean, imagine if this is a doctor's office. Would you believe this is a doctor's office? It's just this little walkway right here and doctor's office right here. Maybe for some minor medical checkups you could do that, but I mean, it's just a chair. There's not even any instruments around. There's nothing here that shows me that this is a doctor's office. It's just, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's hastily thrown together, and to me, it doesn't look good. It doesn't. I honestly, I had to go looking to figure out what this was, instead of, you know, just seeing it and going, oh, this is a doctor's office, kind of like what we got when we went to the medical pavilion in Bioshock 1. Or for this, Rapture Metro, that's something I recognize, of course. But even if I didn't, I recognize that.
Barely made it down alive. But here it is. And it's real. Rapture. This is where that thing took my baby girl. From what I saw in the sub, most of the city's in ruins. But there were lights here and there. And shapes. Moving. I'm rambling. Scared, I guess. But maybe, if I find this Dr. Lamb I keep hearing over the PA, I'll find Cindy too.
He is actually one of the better parts of this game, but even then, I feel like his story is unfortunately lost and just downplayed. I really would have liked to have seen more from that character, from that story, and it feels like we just don't get it. I kind of go back and forth on this, where I say to myself, like, no, he's actually a pretty good character. It's a pretty good story, and it's not a bad one. It's just that I think the way they told it was not great. Oh, is this it? There's one part of this that I absolutely love. It's where, well, I don't know, if nobody's ever seen it, I'm not gonna ruin it.
Big sister doesn't want you playing with me.
That's right, I have to use different hotkeys now. Okay. This place, again, what is this place again? What's
This
it supposed
is
to be?
Dr. Sophia Lamb with a message for the people. Remember,
Lecture resort.
Big Sister is always watching. To steal Adam is to steal from the Rapture family. Your family.
So, Big Sisters, I think it's a cool concept. I do. I really like the concept. I think it's a really interesting take. It pushes the story forward. However, it doesn't really fit with what we know what happens at the end of Bioshock 1. 1 second.
Diane insisted that we spend a weekend at the Adonis. And already I find myself seeking a respite from my vacation. She deems it necessary to chide me for working. The words dissolve into an endless animal bleat. I founded Rapture to be free of law and God, to live among those for whom work is our wage. Yet, when Diane speaks of bearing my child, I am given pause. Till now I had never considered my legacy. Perhaps after the new year.
That also doesn't play very well with what I understand, because he's never happy when he finds out that he's got a kid, ever. And as we know, in Bioshock 1, I don't know if it's Diane. Diane sells the baby, or I guess the fetus at that point, to Fontaine. So, in what world would Ryan not provide for his, I guess not really wife, but I guess girlfriend, mother of his child, let's put it that way, if that's what he was thinking? It just doesn't line up already. I mean, we're not even past the first area, and there's just lots of little things that don't add up. I'm happy that they brought back Andrew Ryan. I like it. I wish they'd spent more time in it. They made him a little bit less likable already. I liked Andrew Ryan at least a little bit in the last game. He seemed like he was a pragmatist and yeah, kind of a dick, but he wasn't horrendously like unlikable to the point where he never took a break. Although you could probably see that he never really did. But you know, he definitely did take time out of his day to go enjoy his life. That's why he was banging supermodels and all the stuff that people criticized him for, right? Now the big sisters, again, I don't want to dislike them, but I do. But it's a cool idea because of how we know Bioshock 1 ends. At least even if you have all the bad endings, if you do the bad ending, you've killed all the little sisters, and if you do the good ending, you save them all, and then they all go to the surface, as Tannenbaum just freaking told us. So what the hell are they doing down here? Oh, I love this scene. Oh, it's a great scene. I love this scene. I love it. Now, because of the way this is laid out, my first response would be this would be kind of like a dining hall. It's not, you know, for a luxury resort. Okay, I get it. And what is it? Banquet? Yeah, it's a banquet hall, so it makes sense. So a nice place to have dinner in your resort. That makes total sense.
In that suit, even the ocean cannot harm you. This is good. But rapture is the death of many great men. Alone, you will not last long. You can still reach the train station. Find me there.
Sunken bathyspheres. Yummy.
All right, diary. Last entry. Lizzie and I, we found a sphere, and we're going home. Is that right, baby? Next stop, topside.
Oh, I love you. It was you who saved us, Sammy. It was you, Button. What was that? What's that sound?
She's seen us. It's Lamb. Torpedo! Ah, I'm trying to...
One thing that always kind of did weird me out is that there wasn't like a plasmid or a plasmid for like breathing underwater. All the things you could do, you couldn't do that. Anyway, so okay, so by now, I think all the denizens of Rapture are not mindless, but I mean, this is probably the only home they've really known, right? Screaming? I hear screaming people. Oh, they are. They're over there. So, going home, this would probably be their home. I love the bouncers. Isn't there like a... Oh, no, there's not. Is there a light I could turn off? I thought there was. But yeah, I like the light. I like that. This I never understood. The fuel for what? I think it's for the bathyspheres, but they really don't tell you what. Like a refueling station for what? I get oxygen stations for the big daddies, but that's about it. But I loved the idea of walking around outside of Rapture. And I think this is a really good idea. A fantastic idea. Look, the sharks over there, big old boys. Got giant whale bones, which I guess partially makes sense. But I mean, I'm okay because aesthetically it looks really great. It fits. I think those barrels would probably float though, so I mean... Like these giant friggin' dinosaur-sized bones. I mean, I don't know much about whales and their overall size, but I know they're big. I don't know if they're, like... I don't know if there's a whale that big, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that bone is. I couldn't tell you. That doesn't look like a tailbone to me. I don't know. Either way, that does look cool. What's also interesting is they decided to put rails on, I don't even know. They railed off this part. I'm sorry, I love looking at the city. The underwater billboards. I see. What is this supposed to say? I've never actually looked back up there. maintenance depot. I do like the what do you want to call it? The I guess trim. I don't even know what to call that. The little. The mermen are cool. Let's put it that way. I even like the airlocks. This makes sense. It's for the big daddies to be able to come and go from the outside. This explains how they get in and out. Works. It is functional and cool looking. Not a big fan of the loading screens though. Those kind of took a dive.
Ah, Herr Delta. You arrive, as the little one said you would. Come upstairs to the ticket booth, and I will offer what I know of you.
Yeah, remember all these guys are essentially brainwashed, thanks to Ryan poisoning. I'll say poisoning. Poisoning may not be the right word. They're mentally suggestible is the proper word. Anybody who breathes in the air of rapture, essentially, I think is what. Or no, he put something in the plasmids. That's what it was, not the air. It's plasmids.
Give me my goddamn dollar back.
Ah.
Now most who survive are like this. Splicers. They're drug addicts. Vicious animals.
I do like the new hacking tool. It does kind of dumb it down, but I go back and forth on this too. I actually liked the old hacking system, even though it was a hassle a lot of time. It added another element of mini games to the game, and it was overall a fun feature. I also like the fact that they didn't focus it, like they didn't care enough on it to keep it the way that it was. They wanted to make it simpler. Got it. I'm actually on board with that too. So had they kept it the same, I'd have been happy with this. I am also happy, but I go back and forth sometimes. I kind of wish I had those little pipes back, or a little mini game to play with. That wasn't just simply match the lines up.
She's prettier now. Stop ignoring me. Hey, come back.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Sophia Lamb. Andrew Ryan is dead, but the tyrant dwells within us all. Remember, we reject the gene. We reject the self. We reject the tyrant.
Yeah.
I'm told that the people grow tense and isolated in the absence of the sun. Now they clamor for a psychiatrist. Do they miss the state censor, I wonder? Wartime seizure of private assets? Or the checkup police vanishing them in the night? Regardless, this Lamb woman is said to be the foremost practitioner in her field. Fine. If she can quiet the rattling of the great chain's weakest links, I will leave her to it.
Again, another thing they brought up that's a fantastic point. Being underwater, aesthetically, it makes sense to have some kind of light permeating through there, not just light from the city, like they show in the intro to Bioshock 1 and what we just went through outside. But yeah, that's a really good point. being underwater for so long, without the sun, that will drive you kind of crazy. I think that happens in Alaska right now, where if you're you have to kind of learn to deal with the fact that you don't have sunlight for a long time. That's a really good point to bring up, and I would love to hear more about that in like those little audio diaries. And guess what? I never hear about again. I recognize this.
I know you.
Ow. Okay, turning that down. I'll turn it back up, but jeez, that was loud.
Dimple on your hand.
Oh my god, that's still loud. Even for me, I got my headset turned up, but jeez. Can I just...
Dead man.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn my overall volume down. That's just too loud. That's too loud.
10 years, Subject Delta, since I watched you put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. But take heart. Out of your pain, paradise was born. I don't know how you survived, but your suffering is over now. These men will ease your burden. Please understand that like all I have done, this is an act of love.
It is Sophia Lamb. She has found you.
Also cool. Alright, now let's turn everything back up to where it was, because I don't know... Whoops. Oh, yeah, use reverb. Yeah, let me turn that on. That was mind-numbingly loud. Oh my gosh, that was so loud. I get that was designed to get my attention, but good freaking job. I just couldn't focus on what she was saying. Yeah, kind of like this, part of the station's flooding. This looks like a maintenance bay of some kind, or at least like some kind of like little storage area. For some reason, somebody, I guess, drowned in here, even though there's air. Well, I guess that it couldn't. It's possible they could have not drowned. It could be just they were thrown in here after they died. I don't know.
Now you know of the enemy we share, Sophia Lamb. The camera in your helmet allows me to watch through your eyes and help you to fight her.
There's the picture of the butterfly that, for some frickin' reason, never goes away. I think the Sophia Lamb is an absolutely, it's just an awful, awful bad guy. She needs to be just a side story at best.
Security cameras belong to Lamb. But if you are clever, they can be made to serve you.
Now, unlike in the last game, where it actually mattered whether you did this, they don't matter for jack in the new game, or in Bioshock 2. They are essentially a waste of time more often than not, to actually hack those stupid things. They're never in a tactically advantageous position. Unlike in the last game, where the actual the the miniguns and the turrets and the cameras, they're all in places that are actually inconvenient for the player, and they're inconvenient for the NPCs that may walk through them. And even if some of them weren't used all that often, if you watched me play my Bioshock 1 playthroughs, I hacked every single one of those things because they were useful, especially for mining resources. So, you know, if I was running low on money, I could literally just walk around the level, and eventually a splicer will walk into one of those areas, and it will be useful. Hold on one second.
Father, it's me, Eleanor. I know you're awake in there. I can feel it. Mother won't be able to toy with you like that ever again. This plasmid is for you. If I'm right, you can use it now. Please, find me.
Weird. Yeah, I know about that. Alright, it's enough. Yeah, I would let turrets and do everything that do the work for me, as especially whenever dealing with big daddies. I would use the security security alarm, whatever I can't remember what it's called. I would use that all the time. I still feel that something's too loud here. I'll turn the sound effects down to 1. Oh, that's right. I have to go up. I would use those to my advantage and just and let the turrets or the security alarms or whatever take care of the big daddies for me, so that I didn't have to fight. Now, some people might say, well, that's not fun in the game. It's like, yeah, but if it's supposed to survive, you're right.
He's got the bomb.
Nuts. He saved a whole kindergarten full of cutesy little brats and went up happy ever after. He was a pansy. End of story.
He's gonna give half a squirt when he's done. He's gone now, and Doc Lamb's the news. I walk all the time. That's great. Come on, Bob. I just I'm trying.
Ow. Ow. How are they not dead yet?
Pop goes the weasel.
Okay.
There would be no Rapture without me. No city without the Atlantic Express. Ryan took his first grand tour on my flagship coach. But these days, personal bathyspheres are all the rage. My rails only connect the oldest parts of Rapture now. And the city's just left me behind. Plenty of cash in the bank, though. This private vehicle craze will blow over soon.
I think that was in reference to something that happened at the turn of I think when the automobile came out. I think that was something that I remember hearing in one of my history classes a long time ago, where the people that were doing trains and whatnot, they said something like that. But I know when radio came out, they said the same. Radio and TV. People in radio said, "Oh, TV, it's a fad," you know. Same as the internet. Oh, it's just a fad. It's like, okay. So I kind of like a little add-on, but this explains again. This is where now I gotta praise them for what they did. So this is the old pre-bathysphere way to get around Rapture. Now the problem with this, of course, is that the bathysphere was the way you got into Rapture in the first game. But this does explain why we don't know much about the Atlantic Express in the first game. Why would we? Apparently we were in the newer parts of Rapture. That makes... Or at least it makes sense, and it explains why this new edition is something we don't know about. That's good storytelling, or at least good ways of explaining things to the player.
These people are hooked on some kind of genetic wonder drug called
Oh, I triggered something.
Sophia Lamb is using the splicers against you. Most big daddies are like her slaves, guarding the little ones. But someone has awakened you.
I mean, I don't think we ever find out how she's managed to enslave everybody.
These people are hooked on some kind of...
Oh, god darn it.
I know of your bond with Eleanor Delta. To save yourself, you will come for her. But Eleanor has a destiny, one you cannot share. There is no place for you in paradise.
Let's try this again.
These people are hooked on some kind of genetic wonder drug called Adam. I've read the word splicer scribbled on walls like a warning. One of them cornered me and Christ, his face. I had a gun, but I choked. And then out of nowhere, we both heard this singing. And he took off like hell on wheels. It sounded like a kid. A little girl. Cindy's alive. I know it in my gut.
They all bow down to me.
White is not black, Dr. Lamb. Down is not up, and straw is not gold. Look around you. Rapture is no miracle. It is a product of reason. Impossible unless 1 and 1 are 2, and A equates to A.
And yet, alone, each man is a prisoner to bias, dream, delusion, or the pain of a phantom limb. To one man, they are as real as rain. Reality is consensus, and the people are losing faith. Take a walk, Andrew. It is raining in Rapture, and you have simply chosen not to notice.
Oh, I hate that philosophy. Reality is consensus. Just it's. I'm not gonna lie. Making the main villain a therapist. Oh my gosh! Just could you try less? I mean, I get why it works to an extent, but it's one of those things that should have been brought up in a board idea and then immediately abandoned,
was to be
or at
your
least.
paradise. You grasped the so-called great chain of progress and pulled hard in your own interest. But then, the great chain snapped. Now paradise is dying, and you with her. But we are never alone. We shall live on, join the Rapture family, and be reborn.
Did I not go in there? I thought I could go in there. Did I not go in there? I must have not gone in there. Not gonna lie, that just popped up and I lost my train of thought. Oh, no, I must be able to go the other way. Oh, give me 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, I did not like putting a therapist as the bad guy. She's not foreboding. She's not sinister. She doesn't feel like a threat. She feels like a nuisance, which is what she only comes off as, in my opinion. And I do like that, where they alter the old circus values. Has been so long, they're starting to kind of fade and break.
In ethical psychiatry, we must account for the role of evolution. Depression, fits of panic, sexual pathos, all responses to ancient selection pressure. The irony is that this theory is why Ryan's people invited me here. They mistake my study of natural law for the worship of competition. Remember, Eleanor, one must know the beast before it can be slain.
What a terrible idea. Hey, Felix. I mean, depending upon what she considers to be natural law, but, you know. Actually, let's go back in here real quick. So, I'm assuming this gate opens up more? Like, we have this giant...
Quickly, head for the elevator.
This is going to be where I have to actually fight off all the splicers. I forgot about that. Okay, so I went too far too fast. I guess this is a changing area for the trains. Again, they don't really do a very good job of telling me what's over here.
Go ahead, ruin it. You brought this on yourself. Ignore me.
You're stepping on my lines! Not again!
Why they always quit down here? Let's fix your face, baby. That's awful rude. We're running out on you. Don't go.
Let's not waste the ammo. Yeah, I'm guessing this is a train changing station, like it maybe changes the cars out or something. But I don't really know what this is supposed to be. I mean, this thing is jammed into the wall, but I can't even tell if it's supposed to go there. I guess it is. I don't even know. You see train... Yeah, this must be a train changing station. Some kind of changeover station.
Hello,
I was just getting warmed up. Come back, please. That's all you got. I'm not done talking to you. Give me nothing, Diane. Come back. I'm giving you nothing, Diane.
Truth will catch
I was
ya.
just getting warmed up. That's all you got?
Now, here is what the children tell me. You are a very old Big Daddy, bonded for life to a single little one. When you are apart for too long, your body begins to shut down like a coma. As long as the girl is in rapture, you are trapped here as well. The name of your little one is Eleanor Lamb, daughter of Sophia. She is kept at Fontaine Futuristics on the other side of the city. You must go there and save her before it is too late.
Okay, so notice how she's now changed her complete reason for me to be here, or for anyone to be here for that matter. I like those so much. So her goal in coming here was to find and save all the little girls that were taken by the mysterious Sophia Lamb. Okay, cool, fine. It's weird that she wouldn't know who Sophia is, or at least in this case she doesn't, because Sophia was here before Rapture fell. But that's another story entirely.
Dr. Siu Chong's death was a nasty blow to the Protector program, but I'm gradually settling into his role, picking up the slack that his carelessness left behind. We are gaining steam again, but I'm not satisfied. Yes, the Big Daddy defends the girl, but he is programmed only for the fight. Like a sheepdog who wanders off unless a wolf is tearing at his flock. When no aggressor is present, he regards his little sister as he might a common houseplant. We need something more, something stronger, an unbreakable physiological bond.
I thought they already answered that in Bioshock 1. I can't quite remember, but you know what? Let's just give them that one. They need a win. The Atlantic Express. You see, you have this little waiting room. That makes sense. I'm not sure where the waiting room leads out into an office. Yep.
Baby?
You see? This is why I must fight Sophia Lamb. She is using the new little ones for something. And I have returned to rescue them. If I do not, more children will die for my sins. And the Rapture nightmare, it will repeat forever. Now, we must talk.
Citizens of Rapture, this is Subject Delta. Behind that mask hides an enemy of the people, without soul or sympathy. It is a beast apart, and as family, we must tear out its jaw and drive it back into the sea.
Lamb will take this place apart to find you. Please hold back the splicers until we escape.
Not that I actually think it'll help me, but I like the speed at which you change weapons with the rivet gun. It's just so versatile.
Where'd you go? I'm not done talking to you! Stand up to me! Hey, you just get started!
Where's my mark? Ha! You are losing my place. Stop it!
Thank you. Now I must leave you, and I am sorry for this.
That's gotta
But
stop.
there are others I must help before the city drowns. This man Sinclair, he is an ally, and will guide you to Eleanor. Goodbye, Herr Delta. And good luck.
Well, look at you. A bona fide knight in armor, complete with iron horse. The name's Augustus Sinclair, Sport, Esquire. Old Tannenbaum and I share an interest in the old Fontaine building, the very same place you'll find Eleanor Lamb. I think you and I can do business. Take the train to Ryan Amusements. I'll see you shortly.
I never actually thought about this. So, one second. Let me play this recorder.
Sophia Lamb has taken Rapture and is responsible for stealing children from the surface. Her splicers destroyed my submersible and forced me to run. But the ticket booth here is secure, and though I cannot trust him, Sinclair is a valuable ally. I have already rescued a few of the new little ones from Lamb. They all want to know how we will get home. wish I had the right words for them.
I think that's the end of Tannenbaum's role in this game, which is already kind of a big question mark for me because her whole shtick was to save the little sisters, and now she's leaving. I think this is the last time we see her? Question mark. I haven't played this one as much as I played the first one. As much as I like all the improvements, it's just the story drives me nuts. There's too many different storylines going all at once, and most of them aren't that good. I do like this though. This is pretty cool. And of course, they downgraded on the frickin' loading screens. You can't just load the level. That's too difficult. Why? Why on earth would you make me have to push a button to start the level? Like, why? And even then, it takes a while for it to register the button press.
Whoa there. Now better apply the brakes unless you're aiming to dash yourself against that glacier up ahead. As you can see, Chief, the station here's iced over. To reach Eleanor Lamb at Fontaine headquarters, we'll have to clear the way. Now, in order to melt that ice, you'll need a plasmid, like a handful of hellfire. We used to sell a fine old product called Incinerate in the amusement park up yonder. Go on and find a way in. I've already been on all the rides.
So this is a little train station. Now, I don't have much experience with train stations, but it looks like what I would consider to be a train station. You know, nice open platform, little platform to board. The only thing I would think of is that, I mean, maybe there'd be multiple cars here, so maybe it'd make it a little bit bigger, but I think overall they did a pretty good job with this. There's always stuff hiding around in the corners, of course. Every video game player ever always knows. Look around everywhere. I even like this, even though it doesn't really do much. It's something that you'll walk by, but you can look out and just see kind of stuff going on. I like it. I don't know what the hell that is, though. What is that? What's it supposed to be? It's like a clam? With missiles? Mussels. Okay, now that I read it, it makes sense. Something mussels. So they're advertising seafood. Yeah, that makes sense. Underwater, yeah. Okay, I'll give them that one. I like the little shanty towns. That kind of makes sense. I say kind of. It makes a lot of sense. Now, the other thing that I find again interesting, and I go back and forth as to whether there was a good idea, was the complete 180 from the objectivist look of Bioshock 1 into Rapture, where Lamb is the exact opposite. She's the communist, essentially.
Eleanor is progressing brilliantly. My physical participation in her birth was minimized, of course. It is vital that I am unhindered by nature's crude bias. I will be, above all, her intellectual progenitor, loyal not to her, but to the people she will ultimately save. But I admit, it is with some measure of pride that I review her marks in standard intelligence tests. As an agent of our beliefs, she may surpass even me.
And this, I would imagine Eleanor Lamb would have figured out the damage and just the derangement her own ideas would cause. But I mean, maybe I'm giving her too much credit as a character.
You're a rare old model, son. Alpha series, I believe. Now, Rapture's full of scientific wonderments just like you. And if we can sell them to the world at my price, well, curing your condition ought to be a cakewalk. Once we find Eleanor, the sky's the limit.
Ah, the minigun. Gotta love the minigun. But you know, so I find it strange that Eleanor is so hell-bent on creating, I guess, like the Ubermensch, which is essentially what she's trying to do. She's trying to create the ultimate human. Although, oh crud, I probably shouldn't have said that. I'll probably shut up about that now. What do I want to do? Do I want to do drill damage or rivet gun? I will probably do drill damage. The drill is essentially like your best weapon, along with the rivet gun. Everything else is kind of useless. Fun, but useless.
Eleanor is progressing brilliant.
I was hired to engineer a park the likes of which no man has seen. Now all I do is watch over it like a grizzled sheepdog. My first line of mechanical puppets made the children here coo with wonder. But Ryan thought my vision was immature. Antiquated, he said. This place could have been something magical. But instead, he turned it into a school. No, a cathedral. Dedicated to himself.
Jam dandy. That'll get you in the park. But buying Incinerate's gonna cost Adam. It's a sort of genetic goo that lets you rewrite whatever God gave you. The little sisters carry the stuff, as you may recall, so you'll need to locate one. I heard whispering near the El Dorado Lounge. Have a look.
So, like, another thing is that these rooms exist solely to be obstacles. They do not exist to be anything other than that. Like, again, I'm not an architect. I don't know, but like, why would you create an office?
Who called this trash?
Oh, let me just knock her out. Oh, by the way, I'm playing on hard, of course. But, you know, so you come back here. This is, of course, like maybe administration or whatever. You know, people have their lockers and their stuff. So this makes sense. Like, hey, this repeat your personals while you're working. Got it. For some reason, while you're at the park, you've got machine guns. Look, I approve of said measure. All right. You have your break room, right? That makes sense. Cool. You got your little fridge. You got your little table to eat on. You can relax, watch some TV. Yeah, that makes sense. And then down here you have your Vita chamber because game reason wise makes sense. But then you have this little space down here. It goes even further. What is this? Like a workshop? Another fridge, another break room. But then you have this little office here. I mean, you could argue it's like the admin desk, but imagine the amount of space you just took up. It just doesn't fit, in my opinion, with what Rapture is. Now, if this was like a larger space all confined together and not spread out, I think it would make more sense. And again, that's me kind of nitpicking a little bit, but it's just one more little thing that's added to the giant pile of little things.
Listen up! Choppers! Get yourselves hid! No fuck-ups this time! Daddy's home! Take aim!
You're
Fire!
not fit to grovel at Lamb's feet. Rain won't hide you for long.
Come on.
Everyone, I hope you had.
I will beat them! Right,
God, I love the rivet gun. Just
I've been hit harder by...
oh, jeez, wow. I didn't think I would actually not kill him on the first shot. That being said, I think that the splices are turned down right now. Ah, so satisfying. That drill is so satisfying. Hi, Felix. What? Alright. I'd say the next section is...
Welcome to Ryan Amusements. Insert your ticket now. Half price for children under 3.
I am Andrew Ryan. Welcome to Ryan Amusements. Please enjoy the park.
Free sample plasmid. That's always nice. I guess, yeah, plasmid. This actually, I will take back. This place feels more in line with what would work in a real functioning environment. It's a little bit funky in my opinion, but I think it works, you know. It's a little clunky.
Andrew Ryan wakes one night while cruising the Atlantic in his steamliner, the Olympian. His sleep interrupted with a singular purpose. Here, he shouts to his crewmen as he wipes sleep from his eyes. Full stop. We begin building here.
I like the dramatized version, so that, again, like with the guy, I forget what he says, or the guy's name, but he says this is one giant propaganda machine for Ryan. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree, and I think that's definitely in line with what Ryan would do. You know, especially someone who's very, very big into himself. It makes total sense that he would turn an amusement park into, well, a giant stroking factory.
Refitted for heavy construction, the Olympian returns with a new cargo, a state-of-the-art submersible platform, nicknamed the Sinker, ferries supplies and workers to the sea floor, fathoms below.
I kind of like listening to the lore here.
After initial supplies have been brought to the seafloor, the platform is permanently moored in the sediment. Massive iron girders are sunk hundreds of feet into the rock and silt. Below the platform, engineers work to overcome obstacles such as diamond-hard rock, obstinate sea life, and unexpected terror.
I like that. That's great.
Busted pile of junk. You broke it, didn't you, Edna? Everything you touched turns to shit.
Mean. You're mean, Roger. It was probably your clumsy, fat hands that loused it up.
Is there a way I can turn those off? No.
Typical broad. Stay away from things.
We shan't save the likes of you. Ah! Ah! Ah!
One of the
Seems
only
like
turrets
everybody's
that's
on the
worth
go these
half a
days.
darn.
Everybody but you. You still haven't experienced Ryan Industries' new spring line of plasmids. Isn't it about time you got caught up? Evolved today.
We lost another of the Alpha Series protectors today in testing. Somewhere outside the city limits, he simply vanished. For these men, Rapture has no walls. We must find a method of conditioning them against abandonment of the Little Sisters. Something physical, possibly even lethal. The lab aides are starting to call them Big Daddies. Perhaps there's some genius to that. Bonded pairs, connected by a love that kills.
Again, I thought they already did that in the last game, but I don't know.
After the platform is secured, work progresses at an astounding rate. Designed to be the foundation of Rapture, workers toil around the clock to create the metropolis you see today.
Ah! Wasn't paying attention at all. But I like that. I like that kind of tell the romanticized version of that story. I like that. Oh, I think it's fun anyway. You can notice even like I'm playing on the hardest difficulty setting and I'm not really having any problems yet. And I really am probably not going to have any problems for a while.
Until you arrive, Father, I'm trapped here. Smuggling these gifts out is the most I can do to help.
In ethical psychiatry, we must account for...
Eleanor Lamb speaking. Mum says I'm not to play
Sophia,
with the
not
other children
Eleanor.
because they're being raised on a diet of dog-eat-dog. I wanted to see these dog eaters, so I waited until Mum was gone and went out to find one. And guess what? The dog eaters wear human skins. It makes them look just like us.
So all the times that I was talking about Eleanor, I meant Sophia because smart. Alright, so we find our first Big
Now
Daddy.
that Big Daddy won't bite until you do. But to get to Lil Sis, you gotta put the old boy down for good.
I found one of those children at last. Filthy dress, all alone. I approached her, praying that it was my little girl. But she was gorging herself on blood from a corpse. It wasn't her. I stared, just reeling. And then that skinny, armored freak that took Cindy jumped me, shrieking like an animal. I escaped, but could Cindy have become one of those things? I've got to find her, now more than ever.
Alright, so actually before we do that, let's go ahead and save in case it kills me. He might kill me. Are you stuck?
Naughty! Naughty!
Take a breath, son. You did it. Now, just let her ride on your shoulders and she'll trust you like her own daddy.
I thought this is a great addition
We're
to
in
this game.
business. Now, there are corpses all over Rapture, and little Dimples there can sniff out the atom on them. Find one.
Adam is near, Mr. Bubbles. Our angels will wait.
I absolutely love this new aspect of the game. I thought this was a fantastic addition. I would have loved to have seen more of it in the first one. I know we get a little bit of a taste at the end of it, or at the end of the first one, but I think this is a fantastic addition.
I do everything right.
Let's dance with them, Daddy.
She's got a juicy one, but when she starts draining out the atom, the splicers will come running. Be ready before you set her down on that body.
That is a child of the family, not a toy for you to exploit and discard. It is fitting that you expire here. One more forgotten curio in Ryan's shrine to the self.
Here they come. Keep the splicers off her now till she's finished, or they'll never give up the hunt.
Ow. I thought I turned auto targeting off. Why does it feel like auto targeting is turned on? Probably because it's the only setting they have and it's defaulted.
This angel's all done now. Yay!
Yay!
Daddy, are you taking me home too?
Now you know the stakes, son. But a plasmid costs a bit more atom yet. Keep it up.
Yeah, I absolutely love the atom hunting stuff. I just think it really fits in. Whoa. Let's grab that.
Why, hello there. My name is Andrew Ryan. I built the city of Rapture for children just like you, because the world above had become unfit for us. But here, beneath the ocean, it is natural to wonder if the danger has passed. If those we left behind will ever come to their senses. So, let us imagine, you and I, what might befall us on the surface.
Huh? What? Come on! I just...
Okay. I also find it weird that at the beginning they gave him he used a Luger to shoot himself in the head, but now they all have revolvers. Just like in the first game, you know.
I told you about this one. Make him listen.
You're gonna hurt us! Hey!
Fool.
Hey!
How you
What
run?
are they all...
Stop running like now!
What do you want with her? The silent treatment?
Come on.
Hey, cut it out already! Why are they all...
That the addition of being able to dual wield really completely changed the way you can do combat. It's so much easier with this.
King of kings, Lord of lords. I saw it written, huh?
I think all of the children have finally fallen asleep. And now that the park is all quiet, I can't sleep myself. I guess it's just you and me, Mr. Voice Recorder. You, me, in 1959. I wonder what the new year will... What was that? Something's happened. The lights are going out. Kids, stay in your sleeping bags. It's gonna be fine.
Come on, exert yourself. Flatten him out.
Ow! I completely forgot about that.
This might work. Hand.
the surface, the farmer tills the soil, trading the strength of his arm for a home and lands of his own. But the parasites say no. What was yours is ours. We are the state. We are God. We demand our share.
I know Ryan is supposed to be a caricature, but there's just so many times whenever he says stuff, and I'm just like, it's so hard sometimes to disagree.
You deranged fool! The family
Not saying that every government is like that. It's just sometimes he says things that I just have to go, it's not wrong per se. But actually, as I said, this is part of one of the levels that I will disagree. I will contradict my original statement when we started playing, where things don't fit. Most of this feels like it should fit, where there's lots of background stuff that makes the front end stuff work. Yeah, you're always gonna need like a little workshop to make things run in like an animatronic studio.
Like music. You'll be good for him.
I really hate those little notifications. Huh, I guess he's really stuck up there. Cool. Alright.
Adam, Daddy, here.
I've been rationing my supplies ever since the park got cut off from the rest of Rapture. Gotta stay strong. I'm holed up in this workshop, surrounded by those wailing brats, trying to beat their way in. They want my food, my guns. They want it all. But I got a plan. Gotta fix up the transport sub that's been rusting in the maintenance bay. Then I'm gonna get the hell out of this hole. These animals want Rapture? They can have it.
What a dick. Alright, so there are still some bugs to the game. A long time later. But that's actually the first time this has happened to me. I've never actually had a splicer just hang out here. But at least we'll have... And now he's spinning the other direction. That's awesome. Or if I get him to spin back around. You know, I'm actually not even mad. Like, that's pretty cool. I'm happy. Ah, I wish I could pick my old wrench back up, though.
I do not hate you, Delta.
One second.
Indeed.
Okay. Just need to turn the fan off.
I care for you in equal measure to any other sentient creature. But I cannot sacrifice 1,000 of my children for one rebellious son.
I also like the audio for this. It echoes.
Chief, we've almost got enough Adam now. To get the rest, you'll have to take care of that little sister. There should be one of the air vents they favor in the workshop. Bring her down there.
Alright. load up more on that. You know, actually, you know, I didn't even think about this before. They're not really wearing masks that much anymore. Some of them are, but they're mostly not. They're not wearing. They're no longer wearing those weird occultist masks or occult-ish masks from the first game. I think there's some that exist, but if you notice, most of them no longer wear masks. And they don't really explain that. If they do, I don't remember it. What's up, Felix? When do you have your toy? No? Okay.
The voice of great multitude. The voices. Leave me alone, you fuckers. I know.
Rapture is a paradise of the ego, Eleanor. Under Ryan, the voices of an entire city sing the virtues of greed and pride. But truth, rather, is in the body. Already they grow weary of struggling against one another in fruitless competition. Observe the bent backs, the drawn faces. Ryan promised us more, they seem to say. In what shall we now believe? And Eleanor, it is our task to answer.
Again, she's got like this massive god complex that makes her really hard to at least even appreciate. She's just annoying.
The parasite makes nothing for itself. Its only tools are taxes and tithes meant to trick you into offering what it has not earned. In Rapture, we keep what is ours. On the surface, the scientist invests the power of his mind in a single miraculous idea and naturally begins to rise above his fellows. But the parasites say no. Discovery must be regulated, it must be controlled, and finally, surrendered. An artist strives to frame his ideals in an image, to challenge his audience and make his vision immortal. But the parasites say, no. Your art must serve the cause. Your ideals endanger the people.
Kind of sounds familiar nowadays, doesn't it? Nowhere does that happen. No.
Don't get in between us. That's awful rude. Running out. I gotta disappear.
Absconding with an innocent. How could you?
I didn't? Oh wait, no, I got the little sister on me. Okay, that makes sense.
A simple.
I thought there was a little, did I pass it? I don't think I did.
Lacking its own ingenuity, the parasite fears the visionary. What it cannot plagiarize, it seeks to censor. What it cannot regulate, it seeks to ban. Rapture was founded on an idea, and here they are held inviolate.
Now, Tannenbaum would have you turn that sister human again. You'll get just enough Adam for our purposes, and the girls will likely try to repay you somehow. But Rapture's a high-stakes town, son, and she is a jackpot. You just have to be willing to take it all. You'll harvest more Adam than the price of one plasmid, so the rest is gravy. Think about it. Down here, it's your survival or hers.
Oh, I always hate those decisions. Do I want to be the bad guy or a good guy? And I hate that so much when it pops up. Just let me freaking play the game. It just keeps reminding me that I'm playing a video game. It's one of the things that I really hated about Gears of War Judgment, is that it always reminded you, this is a video game. This is a video game. Hey, do you want to do this at the time trial? This is a video game. It's like, thanks, video game. Thank you. Now, I am going to be nice, just like I was in the other one. Whoa, see, I almost hit Y, because I think Y was the one that was to help them. So I'm going to rescue my little sister here. Although I probably should get the achievement eventually for being a mean person.
Well, our Tin Man had a heart all along. Personally, I call that a liability, but you have enough Adam now. Barely. Head to the Hall of the Future and splice up with Incinerate.
See, now what he doesn't know is that this Tin Man is still gonna kill everybody else. I do not like anybody else in this.
You're worth nothing. Afraid to face your betters.
Just try.
My wits on my side. I am not determined.
Gonna stash myself.
Ridiculous.
Wait.
Ridiculous.
Let's go.
Heavens. Scum.
But we'll get to them later. But the psychology, ironically, for the second game is not nearly as deep and intricate into the characters as the first one was, which did not actually directly address the philosophy or the psychology around anything, but it was so much more potent in the first game than it ever dares to be in the second. That's one of the biggest problems that I think that really fails.
Your parents sought a private life, using their great talents to provide for you. They learned to twist the lies of church and government, believing themselves masters of the system. But the parasites said, no! The child has a duty. He will go to war and die for the nation.
Again. But yeah, so as I was saying, the psychology, gosh darn it, the psychology of Bioshock 1 is prevalent in all the characters. Everybody has a flaw, and that flaw is exacerbated to the nth degree. And in Bioshock 2, we really don't see that. And it's kind of ironic. Well, to me, it's kind of ironic. Because we see, well, our main villain is a therapist. I would imagine we should be dealing with people's psyche and psychology a lot more. And we don't see that. It feels like a cheap attempt at essentially, I don't know, playing with the ideas of the first one without actually fully understanding what made the first one so interesting. Oh, come here. Alright, let's see.
I met with Sinclair today of Sinclair Solutions. It's this pseudo-legal firm he set up to take problems Ryan doesn't want to admit he has and make them go away. I could fill 40 front pages of the Tribune with stories about this fella if he wasn't paying me not to. And he's got work for me, right? I ask what? And he flashes me these $1,000 Steinman teeth saying this job will, quote, change history.
disease.
Oh, bless me, Lord.
Like this. Like, what is that? How is that supposed to actually do anything? It's not in a very ideal place. If it was right here, that would make more sense because you have the entire hallway locked down. In that, you have a very, very tiny little space that you can work with. And it's only good for that one little area. That's it. It's not in a tactically advantageous position under any circumstances.
Third session today with this amazing limey shrink, Dr. Sophia Lamb. She said that all Ryan's horse shit about always looking out for number one is turning us little guys against each other. And what we need is unity, solidarity. Then, she held up a mirror. Turns out, I wear my hair and mustache just like Ryan. So today, I'm spreading the word about Lamb. And tonight, I'm shaving my whole stupid head.
Well, he is an idiot.
Unable to provide for itself, the need of the parasite grows until war is made to justify it. Your parents brought you to Rapture, where you need never fear the parasites again. So you see, there is no place for you on the surface. But you may bring the world to you. If you know someone who belongs in Rapture, write a letter to the Ryan Industries mailroom. And you never know. The next new face might be familiar.
Senator Cohen's terrible little jingle for Rapture.
I know this facility is vital to the preservation of secrecy in Rapture, but seeing myself transformed into that lurching, waxen nightmare, do children truly respond to this? Still, I spoke to a young man exiting the park after the grand opening, asking him what, if anything, he had learned. He said his chores didn't seem so bad, as long as honor was sent into the service.
So, the wicked please his wickedness.
Why are they dressed in white suits? Oops. Alright, we are going to probably call it a night really soon. I think we made some pretty good progress today. But the game only goes downhill from here. In my opinion. There are little gems here and there throughout the game. I don't think it was all terrible. I think it was just a really big missed opportunity, and they had a lot of the right pieces in the right places.
I've got a little dating tip for you, Jimbo. It'll get you out of that Lonely Hearts Club for good. This scheme works 100% of the time, guaranteed. First, find some Betty and take her to Ryan Amusements. Then, you go to the gift shop, buy her a teddy bear. This is key. I ain't kidding around. Then, you buy her a ticket on Journey to the Surface. As soon as you hit that first scare, bingo! Tunnel of Love.
I need to go pick up my plasmid, and then we will probably end it there. And then we'll pick up with that either Wednesday or Thursday, depending. other than that, I mean, I really did like this level a little bit more. I think they had a little bit more work they could have done with it to make it a little bit more fun. But I think this level was probably one of the better levels that they put into the game. I will definitely give them that. This one went into at least, I don't know if they realized they put more work into it, or maybe they just got lucky with it. I think this one, though, matched the aesthetic for what they were going for, and the functionality. You know, if you're going to go through a little tunnel, it's a tunnel of love, because that last guy did. Little propaganda tunnel for the children. This really worked out well. I think this is a very good and effective piece of. Well, I say that. Maybe not all of it's really good, but you know, you get the idea. It doesn't even exist there. I wonder if that's always been that way. I've never noticed that. Okay, well, that may just be a weird error with this playthrough. I don't know.
I don't have those
Oh, snap.
Lamb is becoming a problem. The woman is a damned collectivist. Here in Rapture, how could the council fail to see it? Worse, to hide her intent, she gulls these patients of hers into a religious frenzy. A new Kremlin will rise and swallow the council house before they realize they've been had. I will not have my city swindled by the parasite, whatever its guise. It is time, I think, to call Sinclair.
Someone like Ryan has a reason to not like collectivists, and I can definitely see why. I can definitely understand why collectivists are such a freaking nightmare to that man. That's right, I'm not in the right place to get my plasmid. Duh. This was... Yeah, this is actually one of the few games that I never really I've never talked to many people about it in the RL. I'd like to know other people's opinions on that. So if y'all want to throw it to me on Twitter or something, I'd love to hear what other people's opinions on this game are. Personally, I think that it did a lot of stuff really well. I think it cleaned up the gameplay. It cleaned up. Where are you?
What?
Did I kill him? I don't think I did.
Came back. Ain't that enough for you?
I think they cleaned up a lot of stuff. They did a lot of stuff right. The art, the graphics look pretty good, especially a big upgrade from the first one. These are both remastered, so I can't really say much of that. But it's a lot smoother. I think the loading screens are a bit of a downgrade. I think that the aesthetics are still there. I think that the idea of being a Big Daddy is really cool.
So, you would drain the people of their life's blood. Rapture is a body, Delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this. Sleep now.
That's literally everything, so I don't know what it is that I did that didn't give me another plasmid.
Your day is done.
But this party just hit the skids. Carl needs a light for his cigar, and no one can help him.
Let's go do a few more things, then we'll get to the Atlantic Express, then we'll head out, and then we'll call it a night. But I really think they had a missed opportunity with... Oh, there's all the extra stuff that I could have gotten. But even then, these aren't that expensive. At least I don't think so. Jeez. I don't know if it's my headset, but the last time I played this game, I had a completely different headset, and good... Oh, crap. I forgot I gotta fight the big sister. And I've only got enough Eve to last me a little bit. Oh, look. Oh, hack. Oh, there she is. Come on. Come here. Stop auto-targeting. Crap. I need to go pick up some more health kits. I forgot about fighting the big sisters at the end.
Holy Moses, son. Not even a big sister can keep you down. Well, come on back and melt the ice and we can say goodbye to this 2-bit carny ride.
But first, let's go pick up like an extra, I think, dose of Eve. But yeah, the big sisters. Oh well, you know what? I've kind of ruined the lore for them already. I kind of don't want to go any further until we get there. So I'm not gonna talk about too much about them until we get more into their lore. Let's see, 40 or gene tonics. Let's just do an Eve upgrade. It's just I need more Eve. It's early on. I think they're a cool idea. I think that the way they explain it, the way they make it work, doesn't work out too well. I'm also not sure how I'm swinging this very well, but you know, not sure if anybody here is. I mean, this guy's got to be horrendously strong to hold a 50 caliber machine gun in one hand. That's pretty awesome. I mean. I couldn't hold one with two. You know, they're really heavy. Not to mention the ammo. Especially swinging it. This guy must be a hoss like nobody's...
Ryan saw the individual as a hero. A noble survivor. And Rapture was his paradise. A shrine to the supremacy of the self. The result? Slavery. Genocide. Chaos. Now that the tyrant is dead, we are a true collective, a single family.
Yeah, right. I also like this too. To you know, get your shoe shined and just watch the fish swim by. You know, again, aesthetically, this works. That's good.
he's gone. James was the only man I ever loved, and now it's like he never even came to Rapture. He heard me sing at the limbo room, came up all bashful. He liked hearing songs about what it's really like to live in this town. I think he's been trying to organize folks against Ryan. And now he's gone, and I'm here, singing Rise, Rapture, Rise. Scared to death they're gonna come for me.
Outstanding, sport. You're proving to be quite a windfall. Now just open the train tunnel from the security booth there, and I'll come out and jump on. I like to look a man in the eye when I give him my word. You and me, kid. We're going places.
He looks kind of fat. Also, he runs funny.
I had thought you some golem of Sinclair's, brought here to hold Rapture's arms while he rifles through her pockets. But no, you are aware of your plight. Who, I wonder, would be so cruel to force a mirror on a man with no face?
Lamb was waiting for us. Come out shooting and start the train.
Father!
Blasted!
Friggin' butterflies.
Andrew Ryan. He reckoned the free market was some kind of Holy Spirit gonna lead us all over the rainbow. And I reckon it's a big fat hooker too dim to spot a wooden nickel. So old Andy went and became his own ghost, and I whittled nickels till I made a mint.
And that's where we're gonna stop today. Whoop. Actually, I don't think I have done everything. I don't think I went to the gift shop. Is there anything in the gift shop? No, because I have Adam. I don't think there's any plasmids in there, so I think we're good. There might be some audio diaries. Let's go look for some audio diaries. Then we'll call it a night. How about that, guys? I would be quitting a little bit early than what I normally do, but I thought I'd be a little bit further than I was now.
Ryan saw the individual as a hero, a noble survivor. And Rapture was his paradise, a shrine to the supremacy of the self. The result? Slavery.
How did I not go in the gift shop the entire time?
Chaos. Now
Wow, I missed this one too.
I love the kids in Miss English third grade class, but boy, I had no idea what I was getting into. Volunteering to chaperone this New Year's sleepover party at Ryan Amusements. Donnie, get down off that exhibit, and I told you, spit out that gum! You'll choke! The kids' parents deserve a night off to enjoy New Year's, but I'm at my wit's end. Donnie, I told you!
Used to be there was no margin in running the gift shop. I couldn't hardly sell off this tourist crap for a penny more than the cost of manufacture. Then I met a straight shooter named Sinclair, and he laid a sweet deal on me. Says he's got some hard luck folks down at Poplar's Drop can whip up this junk at half the cost I used to pay. Yeah, I had to pick a needle or two out of the shipments, but all in all, nobody's the wiser, and I'm all the richer.
Ah, Zoltar machine.
Well, I hope you have somebody to carry on your family name.
Epstein the Swami. That's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
I know the surface, Eleanor. I spent half a lifetime there, in service of the common good. But then, I heard my own words twisted by fat old men squatting over the embers of Hiroshima. Were the modern world a patient in my care, I would diagnose it suicidal. On perhaps that point alone, Andrew Ryan is correct. Rapture is deliverance.
Alright, now I think we're done. Oh, I never noticed the submarine. Oh, that's kind of cool. But no, I think that like some of the stuff they brought up at the very beginning, like being deprived of sunlight for years on end, I think it's kind of a cool idea that you can play with. Maybe have somebody that has that in an audio diary. Maybe one of her patients that consistently is struggling with that. You can have these little aspects that would be real and kind of relatable if they just did it right, and instead they bring up interesting ideas and then abandon them half the time. Whereas in Bioshock 1, it didn't have such ADD when it came to telling stories.
As a hero, a noble survivor. And Rapture was his paradise, a shrine to the supremacy of the self. The result? Slavery, genocide, chaos. Now that the tyrant is dead, we are a true collective, a single family.
Alright guys, we're gonna save and call it a night. I hope everybody enjoyed me ranting and raving about it. We will pick up, if I can, tomorrow with Mass Effect, and if not, then we'll do the next day's Mass Effect. And the day after that, we'll switch back to Bioshock 2, and then we'll just kind of continue on that until I finish Bioshock 2, and then I'll put another game in the rotation while we play Mass Effect. So if you enjoyed, please give us a follow. Please give us a share as well if you want to share some of our lovely little conversations with anybody else. I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.